Hey everyone, it's Lauren here, and this Punchinello that we got in the kit is not only good for layering, it's also good for mixed media. So I'm opening the paints. They've got a little seal on them that you need to open, and then I'm just using my spatula and using it like using the Punchinello like a stencil. Now the less paint you have on it, the more crisp the shape is going to be, and then you just need to clean it in between. I do stamp it off I realise that why am I wiping all that colour off? I can stamp it and add some of that look, sort of like splatters and difference to the painty background. But I do need to clean the rest of it off so that the colours don't mix. If you're just using two colours that mix really nicely, I wouldn't worry. Or if you're just using the one colour. But otherwise, I didn't want too much to mix other than what I was purposely putting over top of each other. So just going through all the colours, add a bit by bit. I was thinking I would limit it here. I was thinking, okay, I'll just do these three colours. So I moved the blue and green to the side, but I do bring them back in. So I'm just going to add some of the pink now, and I'm just really just doing willy-nilly across the page so that I can see how it all comes together. Try not to have straight edges, as I like with my mixed media. I like to have that distressed look and that half the shape done and have it all look random, but it just looks like it's meant to be. If it's all straight, one, I'm not very good at getting things straight, but two, it just doesn't always. There is a time and place, but usually not with my mixed media. So you can see here, I'm going to stamp it off and push it down so there's the imprint is left onto the page. So you can see it looks really cool, and it looks really 80s, this just here, until I add the green. The green changes it up, but I think it just looks really 80s with the bright colours here, and it'd be cool to recreate this background with these four colours and then have some kind of 80s photo to add to the layout. So I will maybe get some time or grab a printed photo and make that kind of a layout. So yeah, so basically you can see how it all comes together, just a little bit here and there. In hindsight, if I was thinking about it, I could have broken up that yellow rather than have a big splodge of it. But I think at the beginning I was thinking I was going to have the colours in a row next to each other, but that's obviously not what happened at all. So here's my photo of Oliver giggling his head off. Took a photo of him mid-laugh, which is always really fun. And I'm just thinking about using the Punchinello to layer, and I'm just trying to work out what kind of layering pieces I'd like to add to the photo. So just ripping up some pattern paper. It's going to be all textury. It's going to be all rough. It's all going to be like that, just so that, one, because it's a mixed media background, and two, because of the texture going on in the background. It'd be nice, and if I'm adding that Punchinello, more texture the better. So thinking about this little arrow tag, and I leave it there for a bit, but it doesn't make it. This doesn't make it either. It's just not the right thing with the background. But this heart definitely is. This beautiful Charms Creation heart that we got in our kit this month. And then this mixed media paper, I really wanted to use it as a full piece, but it just works so well here that I'm glad I was brave and ripped into it so that I could use it. Now I'm just going to work out how it's going to all come together. I pull a couple of items from my stash, and I do use a little unique piece in a moment when I think about it. So I'm going to pull out some black tissue paper, and I'm going to have a few different layers with the black tissue paper. But as I went to put something in the bin, I realized that all these baby wipes that I was using to clean the spatula in between the colors had some lovely colors and whiteness and color contrast. It was like its own little piece of artwork. So I pulled two out to use, and to decide on, and so just dried them quickly because obviously they're still wet. So if you do come across, if you're using baby wipe and you come across a nice, sometimes when you're wiping a stencil off, it leaves a good imprint. Otherwise it might be just the colour that's put on it. It might be nice to just lay them out to dry and then you can use them, but obviously they're not acid free. So you can see here it's coming together now with some layering. So I'm liking it mostly, so I'm thinking, okay, let's start committing, and as I commit it can, change a little, but it doesn't change dramatically. So I've got a double layer, small layer here of the tissue paper. I'm going to staple this wipe in the middle here so that it's not so just huge and straight and flat, but it has a bit of a curve and scrunchiness to it, and that's going to be the next layer. So yeah, so just think about, sometimes like packaging is another good item, and things like that. So there's usually things in our stash that we can use. So just sticking down some of the big pieces of tissue paper and then the pink cardstock at the back, and I'm just going to rip that black up tissue paper up the top. It was too much. So I'm going to cut down this punchinello so that it doesn't have a straight edge. Just being a bit rough with the straightness of my cut. Obviously I didn't want it straight at all. It's nice to appeal to that, and I'm just going to staple it down just because that's the easiest way to do it. Now I cut down these little pieces so that I can put them next to it, and I wondered if I was going to go to horizontal, but if I didn't have that first piece I would. And I'm just going to pick up my layers here, and I'm stapling my layers down just because my stapler is not big enough to reach into the layout like that. But again, it's the best way to attach items like this. Now I wanted some green on my wipe. It had the pink and the blue and the yellow going on. So I just pull out my green. I think I pulled out blue as well just to have a little bit more. Is it blue? I can't even see pink, I think maybe. One of our colours. If you want to know the colours of those Dylusions paint, check out the unboxing video on my channel, or go check out the website. It's all over there as well. So I'm going to commit to this Charms Creation Love Heart, and then I'm going to work out what else I'm going to embellish with. I wondered if I wanted to have a title run up the side of the photo there, but I don't know, I think maybe just the way the actual titles that I had to choose from wasn't going to be what I wanted for up the side, so it wasn't working. Instead, it worked better to have across the bottom here, and that way it's all a bit more concise. It's got the background, then it's got the layering, then it's got the photo and the embellishment cluster combined. So adding some more hearts and just flattening out my photo. It just was not reacting very nicely to the layering, so I do end up taping it down a little bit. Now add this butterfly here. I'm just curving up so that it's got a flat body in the middle, and using that to glue it down so that it's got some dimension to the wings. And just going back in with some tape to stick down the photo and the layers just to make sure they're flat, because it was curving up a little. And then I've got the title Happiness is here from those thicker sheets, but I do end up, after I'll go put my journaling down here in a moment, and I realized the title was just too big for what was going on. It needed to be just shorter and concise with the cluster. So I take it down to Happiness. Now I add a doodly border, but I add a little bit different. I add a little bit of a border edge, and then I do some journaling. Then I do around the corner a bit of a border, and then some more journaling. So that's just, I don't know, something different. I didn't have enough journaling to go all the way around, although I do journal a little bit here. Actually, I put a quote here. But it was just something a little bit different rather than just a plain doodly border. Well, it's not plain doodly border, but just a doodly border was not appealing to me. A bit of journaling and a border together is what I felt like. So here's where I make the title shorter. It's just Happiness. And then I'm just going to use some of these enamel puffies just to to finish off that cluster and use some of these ones that are from this big thicker sheet, just so that it's got some little sprinkles going on, because you can never have too many sprinkles, I say. So yeah, so who's used the Punchinello in their kit, and what have you been doing with it? Be interested to see if you want to share in the group or comment down below. Be cool to know if you're finding it difficult, or you've found a cool way in using it layering, or for mixed media, or maybe another idea. So let us all know. So adding the word up there, and that's going to be the end of the layout. So hopefully you've enjoyed this layout and have been encouraged and inspired to create something of your own. Have a good day, guys. Bye.